If y'all are trying to elevate your shooting game to be able to hit shots like this, or if you're just trying to improve and be a reliable shooter for your squad, I highly recommend y'all watch all the way through this video. What's poppin', YouTube? It's your boy Googa2Lovely. I'm back at it again with another banger on the channel, and today we got Green Light Academy. This video has been requested a decent amount of times in my chat when I stream. By the way, I stream almost daily on YouTube and also on Twitch, so make sure y'all follow both of those. But enough of that, let's get right into this video. I'm gonna be giving y'all tips and tricks in order to improve your shooting game. Whether you're a low skill shooter and you want to improve to being a high skill shooter, whether you want to jump to that elite next level, I got y'all covered with all the tips and tricks that y'all will need in order to get to the places you want to be. But listen, we're gonna have a bunch of sections in this video. I'm gonna have everything time-stamped down below for y'all so y'all can access everything easy. But with all of that out of the way, this video took me hours to edit. It took me a long time to get the gameplay. I even reset to Rise. You see that? I was almost vet 2 and I reset to Rise so I could get heat check, okay? So if y'all like this video, please drop a like. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it helps me out more than y'all could imagine. And if y'all rock with me or the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're very close to 6,000 subscribers. I've been loving the progress and the love that y'all been showing me. It really means a lot. But with all of that out of the way, as y'all know I love to say best, enough talking. Let's just get straight into the video because this one is going to be a fire one. Section number 1, basic tips and info. For a lot of my experienced players, most of, if not all of this section is going to be old news. But understand there might be some newer players coming to the game, and I wanted to get all of this info out so that nobody is out of the loop. First things first, the following tips I'm about to give out are the quickest and easiest methods to improve your shooting right away. Meaning, none of the following tips will require any practice or time invested to see immediate results. Up first, we got shooting boosts. Go ahead and press that start button on your controller, scroll over to the progression tab and move down to get boosts. Use your trigger to navigate over to skill boosts, and here is where you can purchase jump shot boosts individually or in packs of 10. I highly recommend buying these in packs of 10 as you save 500 VC per batch, and you can also out profit what you spent over the course of 10 games. I've been hearing a lot of people playing without boosts are saying they aren't worth the VC. What are we doing? Buy the damn shooting boost, man. According to 2K Labs testing, the boost increase is likely a 5 to 10% increase to the player's base ratings, but will not allow the player to unlock in-game animations that are gated by attribute requirements. And if this isn't enough proof, I personally feel a massive difference in-game shooting the ball with boosts versus without. And I'm a pretty cool guy, so like, just buy the boost, bro. Just buy them. Everyone uses them, so why put yourself at a disadvantage, right? You might as well buy them for yourself. Come on now. Up next, we got hot zones and lethal zones. These are very important to have on your player as they significantly improve your shooting capabilities within that specific spot. How does one get hot zones, you may ask? Well, I have the answer. You must shoot at least 40% from 3, 50% from the mid-range, or 60% in the paint over a 25 game span to acquire hot zones, courtesy of 2K Labs. And it's literally that simple. According to additional testing done by 2K Labs, there's about a 5% increase to your make percentage in a hot zone compared to a neutral zone, and a 7 to 8% increase to your make percentage in a hot zone compared to a cold zone. So y'all might be thinking to yourself, hot zones provide a little boost to my percentage, but is it really all that? Well, that is where lethal zones come into play. Think of lethal zones as hot zones, but on steroids. Look at the chart. I mean, some of these make percentages are 30% higher than even a hot zone. And Genie Googa can already predict y'all's next question. How does one get lethal zones? You have to stroll over to the Art of Shooting gym in the city and complete your weekly drills. Here, you can pick 2 zones to upgrade, meaning you can turn cold zones into neutral, neutral to hot, and hot into lethal. But keep in mind, you can only have up to 2 lethal zones at a time from these drills. So be sure to pick 2 areas of the court where you are shooting the ball most frequently to put your lethal zones. Also, remember how I called these weekly drills earlier? Well, that's because your lethal zones reset every week. I believe Sunday at midnight Eastern time is when they reset. So make sure you are visiting this place weekly need to acquire your lethal zones at all times. Last but not least, let's get into Gatorade Boost. I decided to leave this part last for two reasons. One, this is definitely the least impactful when it comes to your shooting versus boosts and lethal zones. And two, this is only really super important for guards or primary ball handlers, and you'll see why I say that in just a second. In the same exact place where you go to get your shooting boosts, you can also buy Gatorade Boost as well. The reason why I also recommend these boosts for shooting is because they reduce stamina drain and help you regain your stamina faster. And for those of y'all who did not know, stamina plays a huge factor in your ability to shoot. Take a shot with full stamina and then take a shot with little to no stamina. The shot with your player exhausted is going to be significantly harder to green than the shot at full stamina. These boosts are going to be more important for guard builds or builds that are primary ball handlers, as you are constantly draining stamina, bringing the ball up the court, dribbling to get yourself open, and getting bumped by defenders. So if you're a spot up, these are not as necessary for you. But despite these being the least necessary, I still wanted to throw them in the video because lots of people forget about them, and they definitely help out your shooting without having to put in extra practice. With all of that out of the way, that concludes the first section, and let's go ahead and get right into section 2 of the video, being jump shots. Section 2 of this video, the part that y'all are probably foaming out the mouth at for, is jump shots. This is something that people are constantly struggling with throughout the year, and the most important topic when it comes to your shooting. There are so many jump shot videos out there, so I'm not going to spend too much time trying to put y'all on game. However, I will be giving y'all every jump shot that I use on all of my builds in NBA 2K24. And to provide some reassurance, these were all found on YouTube. So if I could find them, then so can y'all. First up, this is the small guard jump shot that I am rocking with. We got Patty Mills base, Oscar Robertson release 1, and Colin Sexton release 2. Max speed with an 80-20 blend. I love this jump shot. I've gotten the timing down to a science, using it for the past several months, and I don't see myself rocking with anything else for the rest of 2K24. As y'all may or may not know, however, Patty Mills is considered an elite animation, which means you have to be at least starter 3 to unlock. So for all my people out there that play small guard and aren't starter 3, the most common bases that I have seen used are Steph Curry and Jalen Brunson. Up next, these are 2 jump shots for all my mid-sized players from 6'5" to 6'9". First one being Ben Shepherd with Troy Brown and Kyle Korver, 3 out of 4 speed and 83-17 blending. I have loved this jump shot since the day I was put onto it by a certain individual. You know who you are, and have had nothing but success with it for several months. This may be a bit better for the more spot up builds, but I have ISO'd with this jump shot and have produced great results with it. And for the second jump shot, this is for the people that can afford Tracy McGrady base. We will pair it with Troy Brown Jr. and Rudy Gay, max speed, 50-50 blending. I love the feel of this jump shot. However, I believe Rudy Gay is also a starter 3 elite animation, so I would recommend y'all use Kyle Korver if you can't get Rudy Gay with the same blending as the Ben Shepherd jump shot. Unfortunately, I would love to provide y'all with some great 6'10" plus jump shots. However, I don't have any of these builds. So the best bases that y'all want to rock with, to my knowledge, consist of Jonathan Isaac, Chris Bosh if you're starter 3, or Marquise Chris. There are plenty of great big man jumpers out there with these bases, and I highly recommend y'all look on YouTube for those jumpers. Now that we got jump shots out of the way, I want to quickly go over controller settings that everyone needs to know, and that is shot timing visual cue. This basically determines when you have to release X or square for your jump shot to be green, jump being the quickest and release being the slowest. But keep in mind that shot timing visual cue does not impact the speed of your jump shot. Whether you have it on jump, set point, push, or release, your player will take identical amounts of time to get the shot off. Certain visual cues work best for certain jump shots, but I have found the most success this year playing on push and release. Release has been my favorite since the day I started rocking it, and makes hitting contested shots the easiest in my opinion. However, test them out and see what works best to your preference. And also make sure that y'all shot feedback is set to all shots so that y'all can see the errors you're making when timing your jump shots, along with contests that defenders are getting on you. And last but not least, here's a little message that I think everybody needs to hear. Stop giving up on your jump shots. Stop! The reason why you see me hitting all of these contested shots and shooting at such a high percentage is because I've been using these same jumpers for months, no exaggeration. You cannot learn the timing of a shot down to a science if you're constantly switching your jump shot. If a female is playing hard to get but you really want her, are you going to give up after one attempt? Hell no! So why give up on your jump shot after one attempt? It's the same logic, people. Stick with a good jump shot, and I promise you will get it right. This right here is the section that a lot of people are going to skip, think to themselves, oh, nah, I got this, and then never improve to the places they want to be at. Y'all need to realize that nothing in life worth having is easy. Nothing. Lock in with me for this section and see your shooting percentage increase greatly over time. Keep in mind, this is literally what I did to become the shooter that I am today. Just like in real life basketball, you need to get in the lab and practice if you want to see improvements. So head on over to the Gatorade course and start getting the work in. Notice how I said to practice in the Gatorade courts and not the Art of Shooting gym? The reason for that is because the Art of Shooting gym has 0 delay and is on super low difficulty. So hitting shots in there is going to be significantly easier versus online modes where you have to deal with things such as latency and higher difficulty. But guess what? The Gatorade court introduces both of these factors for y'all to have a more authentic shooting experience. What I want y'all to start doing every day before you get your runs in is head to the Gatorade gym and hit 10 to 20 shots from each spot on the 3-point line and the mid-range. The best way to simulate a catch and shoot if you don't have a homie rebounding for you is to go to your desired spot, pass fake the ball, wait half a second to a full second, and then shoot the jump shot. Keep in mind the timing differences between each spot and when you have to release the ball visually. There are a million different factors in this game that can alter your jump shot, such as bad catches, gather animations, random speed-ups and slowdowns, and contests. So it is really difficult to shoot the ball straight off of muscle memory like it was in past 2Ks, where these factors did not really exist. For example, if you're playing on release cue, look for your player flicking his wrist to let go of the shots. Once you feel good with the catch and shoots, start adding some off the dribble action into the mix. Start taking a couple dribbles in one direction, quick stop, and then shooting the jump shot. Make sure to always keep notes of how the timing is changing and when to release the ball visually for all shots and distances. The combinations for these are endless, so really practice using animations you would use in an online game and then start practicing off of those. Do this daily, and I so wholeheartedly promise that y'all shooting will improve over the course of time. But I already know the question y'all are about to ask me. What do I do about contests? If I'm sitting in the Gatorade gym by myself, how am I supposed to simulate getting contested and still hitting the shot? If you have any friends that play 2K, have them over for a one-on-one game and practice shooting with them, closing out from various directions. Another thing to keep in mind is the visual cue. The reason why I was stressing so much earlier to really focus on your visual cue is because the easiest way to hit contested shots in the actual game is to look and base it off of your visual cue. Regardless of the contest they get, unless you're getting heavily or 100% smothered, your cue will always be the flick of the wrist if you are playing on release queue. So when you are in the game, take contested shots from time to time. There's no other way to practice and get legitimate experience and confidence without getting the game and taking contested shots. Sure, you may miss a bit at first, but I'm a firm believer that progress is not linear, and sometimes you need to take a few steps back in order to move forwards. Keep in mind what percentage contest people are getting on when you take specific shots. For example, I have to hold it for this long, for a 6% contest versus a 38% contest. I know this might sound like an insane concept to y'all now, but when you finally start to understand the timing and have a little bit of success with hitting contested shots, I promise y'all everything will click in your head. The last thing I wanted to talk to y'all about when it comes to shooting is having a confident mentality. There are so many scenarios when I see people play and they don't understand how open they truly are. Physically look at the defender and notice that many times they won't even have a hand up. We are playing NBA 2K24, which follows a pretty strict hand down, man down policy. You are expecting a pass at the wing or corner and see airspace between you and your defender, shoot the ball. If you see them with their hand down, shoot the ball. The only way they can contest you at this point is if they jump at you, which you can manipulate later on in the game with pump fakes. And if you guys really take in everything I've just taught you, getting a rhythm of your different timings on the spots on the court, keeping in mind certain contests, imagine how much easier things will be when you get sharp takeover or mama mentality takeover, or if you get heat check. And by the way, I know I mentioned heat check earlier in this video. You get heat check by being Rise affiliation and hitting starter 1. It's the little flame next to your player, and yeah, that turns you, that gives you NBA 2K24 aimbot, okay? It's fire. I was almost a vet 2. I probably would have been vet 2 if I was still at elite, but I didn't care. I wanted a heat check, so I switched to Rise, and it was the best decision I've ever made. And also, I was lying earlier. That was not the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys. The last thing I really want to tell you guys is confidence. Confidence is key when you shoot. And for example, if you look at a lot of the clips that I'm sending, they say open, they say wide open. These aren't tough shots to hit, right? But the reason why I want to include these is because I feel that a lot of players, especially at the average or below average skill level, will not take these shots. You have to master shooting pockets and really understanding when you're going to be open versus not, because you could make the claim that for half of the shots I threw in here in these clips, I wasn't open, but in reality, you physically see in the clips that it either says I'm open or wide open. Catching the ball, whenever you crab a defender, let's say for example, you have to be ready to shoot on a limb. If a defender's behind you, shoot the ball, you're going to be open. The timing might be a little bit different, but that all connects back to what I was saying earlier and really taking mental notes on your timing. But with all of that being said, congratulations, because you have just finished Greenlight Academy. I hope everybody takes these tips and tricks and uses them to turn themselves into a better shooter than they ever were before. If y'all stuck through this entire video, be sure to comment whole video gang in the description to let me know who stuck all the way through. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if this helped you in any way, shape, or form, and I will see y'all soon on another banger video.